What is up, you awesome dudes, and welcome back to No Man's Sky. You've got here right on time because today I'll show you some of the best ways to farm a ton of nanite clusters very fast. Since not everyone has the same level of progression with the game, the methods that I'm about to show you will vary from quite easy to more complex. This way both beginners and more experienced travelers can benefit from this guide. Of course, all of these methods will be legit and no glitching nor duping will be involved, as this kind of stuff tends to get patched all the time, and I want this video to be useful to you even a few months down the line. So without wasting any more time on pointless introductions, let's get to it. Starting things off with one of the best early methods, we have the NPC Missions and the Galactic Commissions. Accessing the NPC Missions becomes available to you as soon as you finish the starting tutorial, and this is done by visiting the NPCs on the right side of any space station. These missions will be important to you in the beginning, not just for the nanite clusters, but for the reputation they give you with certain factions as well. When opening up the quest page, look for the quests that reward you nanites exclusively, as these are the ones you'll be looking for. The rewards are pretty decent given how easy these missions are, offering you somewhere between 100 and 250 nanite clusters in total. Since these are all repeatable and there are multiple per star system, you can do more with ease. They will mostly involve stuff like scanning, mining, killing creatures, and this is something you'll be doing all the time in the game anyway. You might as well just get rewarded extra stuff in the process. A tip I have for you guys over here, especially if you manage to get at least a few star systems in your teleporter list, is to grab missions from multiple star systems and do them at the same time. If you're lucky enough and find several different missions in different star systems, all requiring you to do the same type of objective, then you might do them at the same time and just grab all of them, then go to any planet, complete them at the same time, and you will be able to give them in at the same NPC regardless of where you got them. So this is pretty useful. You know, these are like in the first few hours of the game, so I just wanted to mention it. As for the Galactic Commissions, you can access them when you find and claim your first freighter, which happens very early in the game, like in the first couple of hours. Once you claim it, you can access these missions from the main terminal on your main deck area, and they are easier, faster, and more rewarding compared to the NPC quests. These are also repeatable soon after completion. They reward somewhere between 250 and 400 nanite clusters, and until you can access better methods, these should be enough to cover your initial needs for upgrade modules. Now you might be wondering why I haven't mentioned methods like damaged machinery or crashed freighter cargo. The reason is because I find these to be highly inefficient compared to other methods, and you might not want to do these too much because they're pretty irregular, they're not a common encounter, and they require quite a lot of work to do. Also quite a lot of, materials to repair all the cargo slots, and they don't reward that much nanite clusters, which is why I would advise you to completely skip on these ones. Moving over to a more pirate style of getting stuff done, we have the possibility of killing Sentinels for quite a good amount of nanites. For this to be most efficient, you'll want to have a pretty good equipment, which means both shield upgrades on your exosuit as well as good weapon upgrades on your multi-tool. On top of this, you'll also want to be on a planet where Sentinels are frenzied. This will ensure that you'll always get them to spawn easily, and the constant stream of new waves of Sentinels will always keep you getting nanites. The more advanced and powerful the Sentinels, such as for example the bipedal ones, the more you'll be rewarded. To get the nanite clusters themselves, you'll need to destroy the containers that drop off from the Sentinels as well, as these are the ones that actually reward you the nanites, and they can give you anywhere between 10 to almost 100 for the bipedals. From my limited testing, in roughly 10 minutes of constant fighting, I could get anywhere between 500 to 1000 nanite clusters, which makes this method very good, especially if you get lucky enough to already be doing sentinel killing missions that already reward you nanite clusters to begin with. Finally, we have probably the most used method to farm nanite clusters, and this is of course the refiner method. Hello Games has done a great job making this a core mechanic in the game, and this is probably the main source for more than just this farming guide. There is more than just one way to make nanites using your refiners, all requiring different materials and different quantities, so I'll mention all of these separately. Coming up first, we have the Runaway mold method, and this is the first one on the list. It's both the easiest and the cheapest method to do, but also the longest to refine. You'll need roughly 5 Runaway molds to refine into 1 nanite clusters, and it takes roughly 1 minute to be processed. This means that a full stack of 250 mold will be processed into 50 nanite clusters, and it will take roughly 60 to 75 seconds to do so. The only way to currently acquire this junk material is by buying this from the Galactic Trade Terminal or from NPCs. It's pretty inexpensive, but for some reason ever since the most recent patch it's pretty hard to find at traders or trading terminals. So I'm not sure what's going on over here. I was pretty sure these were quite common previously, but now it seems they're quite rare. So yeah, just keep in mind that this is a problem right now. Luckily enough, I had spare from like the previous patches, but for some reason I have found that they don't sell as much as they did in the past, which is why I'll be moving to the second method, and this is of course the platinum method. All you need to do is just refine platinum into nanite clusters. It's a similar conversion to the previous one, so you need 5 platinum for 1 nanite. This time around it will only take a bit over half a second for each unit refinement to be completed, meaning that you'll be able to produce 50 nanite clusters every 30 seconds or so. This is much faster than the previous method. Platinum is way more abundant, but do keep in mind that it is also much more expensive. So like a full stack of 250, I think it costs a few 100,000 units, but if you already get the units, this is pretty much a no-brainer to you. It's simple, it's fast, you can find platinum all over the place. If you don't find it at the trading terminal, you'll definitely find them at the trader NPCs or on space stations. It's pretty abundant even on asteroids, and the conversion is, as I've said, 5 to 1, so you will be doing this quite a lot if you want to pursue this method. It's less time consuming but a little bit more expensive and also less rewarding, but it's a no-brainer, especially if you have like a ton of refiners, especially on your base. But now that this is all done, we will finally be moving to probably the best method currently available in the game. It's also legit, and in my opinion it's decently fast, inexpensive, and very rewarding. You probably already know this, but it's the Hexite plus the copyright method, and this recipe was added in the latest patch, and you will obviously need a advanced refiner for this. So you can't use the portable refiner because it only takes 1 slot. You will need at least one with 2 slots, preferably one with 3 slots. So this will be available on your base or on your freighter. You can build it, it's pretty inexpensive, and I would advise you to build several of these as you would be doing a lot of combinations. I'm going to start off with the copyright since it's the most obvious one. This one can be acquired in several ways, not just one. Obviously the easiest one would be to just go down on planet surface and get it from feeding creatures, but it's pretty inefficient. A way better method would be to do it with another refiner method, and that is by using carbon and dihydrogen. In fact, this is my go-to method because both carbon and dihydrogen are plentiful in any system. So grab these, put them in the refiner and convert them into copyright, and then when you get a full stack of 250 copyright, put it once more in the refiner and also add some oxygen in the mix, and this way you will basically triple your production, as you will only need 1 copyright and 1 oxygen to turn it into 3 copyright. Hexite on the other hand can only be picked while feeding animals in the 2nd week research event. So after getting certain coordinates from Polo to travel to a specific planet, you'll need to feed the creatures over there and they will provide you hexite instead of copyright. What I have found is that the creatures over there are beyond abundant, and you can find like huge groups of at least 10 to 20 of them, and you can get like thousands of hexite very fast. Since you'll need quite a lot of these, you'll be spending quite some time here feeding creatures, so make sure to get a lot of carbon at hand because this can get quite expensive. So just grab some carbon. If you don't have any, luckily enough there are plenty of plants you can destroy to get it, and then just feed the creatures. It's pretty easy, and like 250 should come come to you in no more than 2 minutes. Once you get the hack site and the copyright, you can go ahead and refine it at the big refiner on your freighter or on your base. 250 of each of these will convert into 250 nanite clusters, which means this is probably the most lucrative way of doing this in the legit way. The timer itself is also very low and the full stack will complete in less than 3 minutes, but yeah, it's the initial acquiring sequence that takes the most amount of time. And yeah, this pretty much covers today's video and the best methods to farm a ton of nanite clusters in No Man's Sky. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to drop a like and to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content like this. Also activate the shiny bell button to get these videos earlier, and I'll see you guys in the next one, so peace out.